Hey guys, this is a requested video that we've had talking about ankle mobility, specifically whenever we're trying to squat or do something functional, and every time we go to squat, our ankles turn out kind of like this. If I hop into a squat, and we get here and we're going into it, and as we're going down into the squat, those ankles begin to turn out, and we end in this position here. It can be a back squat, front squat, maybe on the reception of a clean, whatever it is. Our ankles turn out pretty drastically, and we end up losing stability overall during the movement because our ankles are flared out, our knees are in, we have this internally rotated position in our hip, and we can't create as much stability in our low back to stabilize the weight and actually lift it up afterwards. So how do we get into that? If we're talking about the ankle specifically, there is a progression that I like to use when doing it, and we can start with the band. So we're going to just kind of traditionally, and a lot of you have probably seen this stretch before, we're going to put the band right on the line of the joint of our ankle here. So right where your ankle bends, we want the band at, okay? So we can put a lot of tension here with the band, and I'm going to grab some weight, come out, get a ton of tension. Make sure they see this too, where the band is. A ton of tension on that area of the ankle. We can take some weight to help us get into it, and we can really try to find a really good dorsiflex ankle position here with the weight coming down. We're just really opening up the back of the Achilles here, if you can see. Now if you come from the front and look at the angle here, the whole time we're doing this, we want to mimic the position that we would love to receive the barbell in, receive the weight in, or have our finishing position in. So this is a very deep position of a squat. I'm not allowing my knee to cave in because we really don't want to end up in this position. We want to operate out here, which again is very similar to what the bottom of a squat would look like. So we can hop in this position, we can hang out here for about 2 minutes, find something heavy to put on and really bias the position. After we've utilized this position, we want to do something that's actually going to work the functionality of the area. So we've just did something to open up the space, but we haven't really added any type of pattern of movement to it. And if you know movement kind of follows patterns. So if we're not training the pattern of a movement, we're not training the movement at all. We're just training an aspect of it, and that doesn't have the greatest transition overall. So another way I like to do this is to use kind of like a Bulgarian split squat, but you're doing it yourself. So I'm here. You can use something for balance if you'd like to. We're going to go down into this squat, and if you look at my ankle position, we're using a ton of dorsiflexion to get here. So we're going to come down, we're going to hold, we're going to do a pause for about 5 seconds, and then we're going to drive back up. And you can see the front angle, all the squat mechanics are there. The knee's outside, I'm driving and externally rotating with the hip, driving out, using something for balance, trying to work that dorsiflexion that we just obtained with the band. We can go through 10 to 12 reps of this, just a nice tempo, entering the area, pausing, and then coming back out of it. Okay? And whatever movement you're trying to get these things to transfer to the most from the ankles, we want to use that movement. So we're using the example of a back squat. So again, we can hop into a back squat, go down into the squat, and check your position. If you're able to get fully down to the back squat with toes forward, driving the knees out, creating plenty of stability in the hips, then you have entered the position you'd like to be on. Odds are, it's going to take you longer than just one session to get there. So, if you go about this squat and you're going down, 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 and you notice your feet start to turn out again, and the knees are coming inside, maybe we need to keep the toes more forward and pause right here. So if you start to lose your position and toe out, let's come up a little higher and fight and just go to the position where we can hold a really good position without losing our footing. So let's just hold here for 5 seconds, come back up, take a and then go back into it. See if we can get lower without losing that position. Again, if you start to flare out, come up higher, do your pause there, and then come back up. You'll end up doing pauses as heavy as you can go for positioning. We've worked a range of motion, but we're trying to change how we pattern a movement, because it really is how you think about a movement that makes the movement whatever you want it to be in the end. So use this, apply it to when you're trying to train a specific area of the body, and let's see if we can have some change.